All right. My guest today is Paul. Hey, Paul, how are you today?
Hey, how are you? I'm doing great.
I'm good too. Thanks for being here. So, tell me, where are you calling from?
I am calling from the Loire Valley in France, about, gosh, maybe 15, 20 minutes from some of the most famous castles in this country. It's pretty wild.
Which one is that?
Chenonceau and Chambord, and then there's two in the town nearest me, in a town called Amboise. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
that's where Leonardo da Vinci spent the last years of his life. It's pretty wild.
Ah, okay. Okay. So that's a good point. Are you into the arts?
Kind of, sort of, no.
No, you just
It's
had to
neat,
bring it
and
up because it's friends.
yeah, and when people come to visit, they all want to see it. So I need
Of
to know it.
course. Of
And
course.
my better half, she loves all that stuff. So it makes it
Mm-hmm.
fun for her.
Okay. So, how long have you been there?
We've been in this house for about a year and a half, and I've been
Mm-hmm.
in France for 2.5 years.
Okay. And why France?
Um, gosh, we've been coming here for a very long time,
Okay.
and it's probably 25 years or so. And we always thought we would live here, and then one
Okay.
day we just decided, and here we are.
Okay, so you visited many times. So what do you remember like the point where you said like, okay, now it's the time, now we really do it?
I can tell you exactly what happened. We were living in Southern California in a town called Newport Beach. It was during COVID, and I just closed down my company and wasn't really doing much other than playing with my friends. And one day I was out in my office, which was in a garage in the back of the property, and my better half Denise texted me and she said, "We need to talk." And so I'm
Oh.
like, oh God, here we go. So I go
Yeah,
walking
never
back
a
in.
good
I'm
sign.
slow walking in. Yeah, I'm slow walking into her office. I'm like going through my head, what I do. And so she sits me down and I'm looking at her. I'm like, okay, so what's up? And she said, what are we doing here? And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, what are we doing here? Why aren't we in France? And I'm like, we're in Newport Beach. Look at this. It's awesome here. The weather's perfect. And she's like, well, why don't we just move to France? And I didn't have a good enough answer, so I guess I was
Yeah.
getting ready to move to France. But I did tell her that in order to go to France, we had to get out of California for at least a year because you get taxed when you move to another country from the U.S. based
Yeah.
upon the last state you lived in. And
Ah,
California has pretty high taxes,
yeah.
so we had to pick somewhere else. So we were looking at all the different places, and we have a lot of family in Florida, so we chose there.
Mhm.
And did he started there for a year, but I bought a house, so I had to wait another year. But after our second year in Florida and our second summer, she looked at me and she's like, "If I do one more summer here," and we're in St. Pete, which is a great town, but the summers are really hot.
Mhm.
She's like, "We got to get out of here. I'm not doing one more summer here." So
Uh-huh.
she's like, "Let's go to France." And then later that year, I guess this was 2022, in December, we were having dinner. And I said to her, "Look, are you sure you want to move to France in April?" And she looked me dead in the eye and she goes, "I am all in." I just remember
Yeah.
thinking at that point, "Oh shit, I'm moving to France."
Okay. So she was in, but you were not 100%. You were still like thinking she's just talking or hoping that she's just talking
Well,
or
I would have done it, but it's kind of one of those things where in the future is nice and safe. It's
yeah.
warm, you're not going to make any mistakes with in the future. And once, I mean, I'm happy she did it because she was the catalyst. This is something she always wanted, and I did too. I wanted to live somewhere differently. But planning for it, dreaming about it, and actually pulling the trigger is a totally
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
totally different thing. So yeah, that's
So,
how it came about.
yeah, and, so tell me about it. So how did you then made the move?
Okay, so by the time we were living in Florida, I was doing some consulting work. I just stopped doing all that. And I needed to devote all of my time to the move because it's pretty big logistically. Getting
Mhm.
rid of furniture, selling where you're going to live. And we'd only been to France a handful of times, maybe 5 or 6 times. So I had to learn a lot.
Okay.
And, but anyway, I started planning for that. And then we decided that we wanted to look around. We didn't know where we were going to live there. We didn't want to just
Yeah.
pick somewhere. So we
Sure.
chose a couple of places to go stay, and we had some plans that we were going to end up. But once we saw it, we were like, wow, there's more to France than what we've seen. And
Mhm.
I suffer from FOMO really bad. And
Yeah.
so we decided that we're just going to travel around. So we traveled around for about 10 months, a month at a time, in different Airbnbs in different areas of the country.
Okay, and by that
And
time you already closed everything, like in the
in
US?
America,
So
yeah, everything
okay.
was done. Let me take it
Okay.
back. We sold our house,
Uh-huh.
um, and we sold pretty much everything.
Okay.
Um,
So you only
and
came with bags of clothes, pretty much?
four suitcases, two of them with clothes, two with our computers,
Uh-huh.
and our golden retriever.
Yeah. Okay,
That
okay.
was it.
So I get a
That
good
was
idea
it.
about that. Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, it's really nuts because when we first decided that we were really going to move, and my better half, she decorates the house really nice, and I was like, why don't we just sell everything? She's like, no way. I thought she was going to rip my head off,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
because I made the comment, it's like, well, it's not like you can't find an armoire in France, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, ultimately she came around and we got rid of everything and just saved some really important things to us. Got a small storage facility in St. Pete, and then almost a year later got the rest of it and brought it back over here. But we didn't bring any
Okay.
furniture. The only thing big we brought was a car, and that was the dumbest thing I ever did.
You brought the
Um,
car.
that was stupid. Oh my god, what was it thinking? But yeah, no, it worked out well. And then traveling around the country, we got to see a lot of this place. The people are really cool, but after a while, you need to settle down. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how these people that the nomadic folks that move around different countries. I mean, God love them, but man, after a while, I got tired of it.
You also get tired. You also, like, have to do the small talk every day over and over again. I mean,
Yes,
that would be
yes,
my part. It's like, I don't wanna meet new people again. I just wanna maybe see a familiar face.
yeah. Especially when you're not very good with the language yet.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
really,
yeah. Well, you only
yeah.
know ça va bien."
Yeah, yeah. You say "savant" like 30 different ways,
So,
but
do you, so how then did you find the place where you are now, or where you then decided to stay?
well, what we did is after a while we got tired of moving around, and the people that had rented us a house in Burgundy in July of our first year, we became friends with them.
Mhm.
They came down and visited us when we were down in Avignon, and they said, "Hey, we've got the Airbnb where you stayed. We won't charge you the ridiculous rate we charged you in July. Why don't you stay in it for
Oh
the winter, and we'll keep it
oh, that's
occupied?" So we
nice.
did. And what I wanted to say too is that when you're traveling around, with the exception of like July and August, the Airbnb rentals were actually cheaper than rents in the U.S.
I
It was
bet.
really crazy.
Yeah, I
It was
bet.
really,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was nuts. So anyway, we ended up in Burgundy and we looked at some houses there, but just didn't get the vibe for it. So we decided we were going to go over to the Loire Valley and take a long weekend and look around. And it's one of those moments where kind of fate pulls you. We had been there years before and really liked it. It felt a lot like, it's kind of air quote, real France.
Mhm.
And we were just looking at places. We decided to go see one, and it was this old, rundown winery where we're at now. And she's like, "No, this is perfect." And I'm like, "All right, it looks like a lot of work." But she said, "No, no, I can see it." I'm like, "Okay." So we put an offer on the place while we were here, and that was in November. And then we closed on it in March because it's France. Um, but
Okay. Oh, it takes a long time to close?
yeah, yeah.
Oh. Oh, wow. Okay, not
And I was
28 days.
no, no, and I was paying cash, which is crazy. And in the U.S., you
Oh, they
pay
don't know
cash a
that. It's
house.
just
Yeah.
that's probably very unusual, huh?
Well, yeah.
In
Well, I think what they have to do is there are so many laws here about inheritance. They have to make sure that whoever's selling it is not leaving someone out of the loop. And then the
I
guy that we were
see.
buying it from, he lived in Paris, so he had his own attorney. And In the US, you pay for cash, you can write it on the back of an envelope, close in a week.
Yeah.
Here, no, no, they're
Okay,
getting
well, that's good to know.
yeah.
So then you bought a winery?
Yeah, it's
That's
pretty wild. It's
crazy.
got 6 caves, um, 2 of them made for wine. Like I've got these old vats in on one of them. I had no interest in making wine, but there's vineyards all around us. But the really cool
Ah,
thing is our one of our living rooms and our kitchen are actually in caves. So there's like these limestone walls all around it,
uh-huh.
and it like even in the summer, if it gets hot, they stay about 72 degrees,
Yeah.
and the dogs love it. They lay on the stone floor. It's
Do
pretty
you
wild.
have a window in that cave?
I do. You wouldn't believe it. We have this big sliding glass door and there's bright lights, and it's surprising. It's
Ah,
just the way the
nice.
light hits it. It's pretty cool.
Oh, cool. And, so did you have to do, like, a lot of renovations or anything? Because you said it was pretty run down and, like, a
Yeah,
lot of work.
we did. I mean, it wasn't like ruined, run down, but the folks that owned it before, they bought it in '96 after the house had sat since World War II empty.
Oh,
And
empty since, like, a long time.
yeah, and
Yeah. Oh,
I'll
wow.
tell you about this area
The
later.
roots
It's wild.
came through the ceiling, kinda.
Well, when they bought it, they had no electricity. Like the room I'm
Uh-huh.
sitting in right now was where this room and this other living room off to my right is back in the day. That's where like the horses and stuff were. And
Mhm.
upstairs is where the workers stayed. And
Uh-huh.
there was no running water and there was no electricity, but our living room and our kitchen, that's where they used to press the grapes. You can actually see in the wall
Okay.
where all
Yeah.
these wood things used to be. So it's pretty wild.
Yeah, but it's funny you say that, the house where I grew up, like, what was our, like, breakfast room, used to be a cowshed before.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
guess that's
weird.
how it was, you just, like, made the house bigger and bigger, and then whatever at some point you got rid of the cows or whatever animals you had, and then you just made it into your living room.
We had another kid, old Bessie's getting out of the house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was raised in a raised ranch, so it's like this is
Ah,
all so
okay.
new to me.
Yeah. And so when you came to France, so what was it like for you? Because like was it like as you as expected it, or what was the reality like?
Um, that's a great question. It's like I don't it didn't necessarily I think I came over here pretty open minded. When I got here, it was like such a relief to get here. When you're planning on all that and it's just building and building and building and all this pressure of trying to get ready to get over here. And I was freaked out about our dog
Oh
because
yeah.
we got it. We, he flew in the plane with us, not in cargo. And we got him
Uh-huh.
certified as a service dog, full air quotes.
Sure. Yeah.
And,
Okay.
and he
Yeah.
was only a year and a half old.
People do that all the time, right?
I know, I know.
So yeah.
And so it was all I cared about was when we got to the airport, we got him on the plane because once I got on the ground in France, I could figure it out. So
Okay.
because I had all these like alternative plans. What if they say, "Oh, he can't come on the plane," and then I got to
Mm,
spend this exorbitant amount of money to fly him some other way? He wasn't the kind of dog that could go under the plane. He freaked out when we
mm.
crate trained him. So I remember looking at D. I'm like, "All right, if this doesn't work, and you know, we'll get it worked out. I'll go over to France and I'll meet you there in a couple of months.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can find your way over." But
Okay. It
uh,
all worked out.
yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
It
But
was
did
fine.
you need like, I don't know, like a vaccination record for him or something?
Yeah, it's pretty detailed. You have the and there's a timing thing. Like you have to go to a certain USDA doctor 10 days before you leave, and then they have to overnight the documentation to you. And then when you get to the airport, you got to get there like 3 hours early so they can go through all the paperwork. And it's really pretty hardcore. The good
And
thing is
us
that they don't have to be quarantined here in France. So
I okay. Okay. That was my question. Okay. Good. And then tell me again like how how was the expectations, and how was it then when you landed
It was
there?
fine. We got in the plane, and the pilot came out and met him, and he's our dog's name is Sully. So that famous pilot that landed the plane in the Hudson River or
Ah,
whatever
that
river
was
that was.
okay.
His name is
Yeah.
Sully.
Ah,
So the
okay.
pilot loved him, and he brought him up to the
Yeah, of
cockpit. We got all
course.
these pictures of him in the cockpit, and then right before we take off, the pilot comes walking back, and we used all these miles to fly in business. It was like the trip of a lifetime. And the pilot comes out, and Sully's on his back with his legs in the air, and people rubbing his belly, and he's like, "Oh, service dog, must be a service dog in training." I'm like, "Yep." So I was like,
Okay.
"Oh God, you're gonna get kicked off." But
But they liked
so
him and
once we
nobody
got,
was complaining.
no, no one complained. It was pretty cool. He was quiet. He behaved better than I did. So,
Uh-huh.
but it was all fine. And then once we got here, we spent a couple days in the city, and then it didn't really hit me until that day that we actually left Paris to go on to our first place we were staying, because it went from a vacation mindset to, oh
Yeah.
man, this is real.
Uh-huh.
And
Pretty quick.
you don't, yeah, you had 2 days. And so it was just really odd to head off. You didn't know nothing was familiar. You're going to places you don't know. Um, but it's an adventure. And even to this day, I still think about those days, how weird it was, and we ended up,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
I'm glad we moved.
Yeah, and so what about your language skills?
They're a lot better now. They weren't so good
Uh-huh.
before.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I'm fortunate that I like to cook, so I do most of the grocery shopping. So I get a chance to talk to the folks in the stores, and they
Mhm.
know me now, which is kind of cool. A lot,
Yeah.
especially like at the farmers market, they know what I like, and they help me with my language. There's still
Mm.
a lot of pointing. Still a lot of like
Sure.
caveman speak, lots of nouns, lots of
Uh-huh.
verbs, no conjugation. But at least I'm trying, and they like that. But yeah, it hasn't been so bad. But the funny part was my first few months on the ground, like where we live, there's not a lot of Americans. So
Right.
we've become friends with our neighbor, and he's helped me with a lot of the renovations, but he doesn't speak any
Uh-huh.
English either.
Okay.
So if you
That's
saw us from like 20 feet in the air, you see me talking to my phone, show it to him. He talks to his phone, shows it to me.
Okay.
So
This is how it
yeah, I
works.
never, I never go to see him without my phone in my pocket, just in case.
Okay. So do you have like also like hands and feet conversation?
Oh
Or
yeah,
you
yeah, it's hilarious. It's, and I say a lot of things wrong. Like one of the things I said one time, there's a puppy is called a show, and it's spelled Chiote, but
Mhm.
it's a show. I think it's Te, or maybe it's without the e. But anyway, if you say it with a T, it's a body function. Like
Ah.
you're in the bathroom, right? And so for a couple of weeks, when I knew we were getting a new puppy once we moved here, because Sully, we wanted to have another friend, and so I would tell like the butcher, I'm having a shoot next week. And he'd look at me, and I'm like, and then I found out from my neighbor what I was saying, and I'm like, oh man, I was just trying. They're like, he's so excited, he's getting a shoot next week. So
Well, it
that's the
happens.
language problem.
It happens.
Yeah, but
Okay. Um, and but were you like were you learning the language? Was it also like sometimes is it frustrating for you because you always seem like a very like happy guy?
oh, you feel so dumb. You feel so
Okay.
dumb all the time. And the French are very proud people, and if they don't speak the language well, they don't want to talk to you, not because they're jerks. I mean, not by any way, shape, or form. I've discovered from talking to them now, as they know that I can speak a little bit of the language, that they were just embarrassed that they didn't know my language. I'm like,
Mm.
well, wait a minute, this is your country. It's up to me to learn your language. You don't have to know mine.
Mhm.
And so that was a little odd. And as Americans, we're a lot more friendlier than the French. Like the
Like
the
outgoing,
stereotype of
you
the
mean?
Americans, we're like dogs, like, hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Yeah.
Always touching them, always high fiving, And and to the French, they're a lot more proper, and
Yeah.
that's not, as you can tell, that's not my way. I'm pretty friendly, and so I
And
know a lot
open,
of
yeah,
times,
yeah, uh-huh.
yeah, they're taken aback. Hell, I'm telling
You
them we're
go
having a
there,
show next week.
you go towards them with open arms, and they're just like start running kind of.
Oh yeah, like get away from me, man.
Yeah.
So,
So
but
yeah, but
we get
were
along.
you get along. Okay, but like culturally, were you sometimes had like your ups and downs when you were, I don't know, did not align with the culture?
Yes, for sure, and it's going to happen. I mean, not just France, any country you go to. And I tell a lot of people that I speak to nowadays that your why is the most important thing. Like if
Why
you don't
you
know
want to
if you
move?
don't know why you're going to that country, you're going to have trouble because there's a couple of things. Like here in France, I read somewhere that like the average American doesn't stay for longer than 18 months. And I think a
Mm,
lot of it is isolation. Like if you
yeah.
don't know the language, you don't know anybody, it gets not boring, it gets sad.
This
You know what I
this
mean?
gets
And so a
lonely,
lot of
yeah.
them, yeah, they want to go back to familiarity. So
Sure.
the other reason why I think the why is so important is there's going to be, let's just say it, there's going to be days it's going to suck. Where
Yeah.
everything that you know is going wrong. You don't know the language well enough to where if you've got a service issue that you can outthink the customer service
Mhm.
agent or cajole them into doing what you need them to do. You got to sit and take it.
Mhm.
And in a slower lifestyle like over here, they don't have that same need to get it done as quickly as we're so
Mhm.
used to in America. I need it now. And so that leaning on that why when there's those days that it's like, man, it's a lot easier back home. But then you
Yeah.
remember why you came here.
Yeah.
And that really helps get you through it.
Yeah. And let me just check my questions. And let's also talk about your book because you wrote a book about your life in
I
France. It's
did.
called Get Frenched, a
Yes.
practical guide to inventing your life in France.
Yep.
And so that is like for people who are interested in moving to France.
Yeah, it is. It started off that way. It's kind of morphed into a couple different directions. I got a call from a guy in who's moving to Italy, and he wanted to know if I could help him. I'm like, sure, it's the same basic plan. It's just me learning the rules of Italy, but it was
Mhm.
more of so the people who it's for. If you're planning on moving to France, you should definitely have it. It's like a handbook. It's like here's all the
Yeah.
things you need to know. Everything from where to take your stuff for the dump,
Yeah.
little things like that, to people who are moving to another country want to get the mindset of what it's like. What are the things I should be considering?
Mhm.
This is pretty detailed the way I did it. I was just manic about it. And then
Mhm.
other people, I tried to make the book so it was a lot more lighthearted. So
Mhm.
if you just want to watch two people bumbling their way through France, it's kind of fun. There's parts of it you don't need to read, but there's stories in there, and there's things that happened to me along the way. Uh,
Mhm. Okay.
I
And
didn't
there are
set
also
out to
like
write a book when we moved here. That
yeah.
wasn't the
Oh,
plan.
okay. That was not the plan. So it has also like a checklist of like things to do. Like it has a lot of technicalities like shipping, tying up loose ends.
Everything, the decisions we made about what to keep, what to send, what to do with it if we were keeping it, how to send it if we were sending it. And even if you're moving to Japan, just pick anywhere. If you
Yeah.
follow along with what I did, you'll see all the decisions I had to make. Where it's only going to differ would be the rules of moving into that country. Your
Right.
visa status and how different countries handle it. But everything else is exactly the same. It's like if someone
Okay.
said to you right now, you're probably different because you have already moved. But if someone said to the average American, you're going to move to Panama, tell me the first 50 things you have to do.
I don't know. I was like, selling my house.
Right, right. You know what I
I don't
mean?
know.
So
That's like the most important.
So I kept all these records about doing it. And what happened was a friend of mine who helped us get our visas had a client that needed help. And she's like, hey, can you help them? I'm like, sure. And then I started thinking, well, I need to do a job here. I'm not really doing anything while we're waiting to renovate. I mean, what are my options? I can't work here because I'm not, I signed a document when I moved over here that I wouldn't work in France. So what can I
Ah,
do? I mean,
okay.
I can't. I'm not going to sit around and day drink, you know. So
Right,
I'm like,
right.
well, what can I do? And I started thinking, well, wow, maybe I can help some people do it. So as I was saying to you before, I was helping a lot of people, but a lot of people would rather do it on their own. So I was like, well, I'll just write a book and show them how to do it. There's still
Okay.
people that want me to help them. I kind of look at
Sure.
it like if you want to climb Mount Everest and you want to know how to do it, read my book, which is, that's
Okay.
the metaphor. But if you want me to go with you, I'll go with you, but it's just going to cost you. you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But so that not working, is that part of the visa?
the visa I got a visitor's
Uh-huh.
visa, which means that I'm coming over here and they only look at do you have a place to stay? Do you have health insurance until you can get on the state plan? And do you have enough
Mhm.
income coming in to live here? And
Uh-huh.
so I
Okay.
had enough savings to where it worked out.
Mhm.
And my better half, Dee, she still has her business in the U.S., so she works, but she has to stay over there, and she has to go back to the U.S. a few times a year just to make sure her business is running
Ah,
well.
okay.
But
Uh-huh.
there are other visas. You can get a student visa, you can get a work visa, you can get an entrepreneurial visa. There's a lot of different ones. The one I
Okay.
got was the easiest for me,
I see.
and it
I
lasts
see.
1 year, and I can get it for up to 5 years, and then I can get a 5 year visa to where it's not as hard. But you do sign a contract with the country saying that you're not going to work here, and I understand why they don't want me to take a job from somebody else that could do
Sure.
it.
But like a job, like let's say you're writing a book, that is okay?
Yeah, it's a totally different thing. It's
Yeah.
something that it's just like being if I wrote a song,
Yeah,
it's the
it's
same thing.
you're not employed. That's
No, no, I don't have a
yeah,
job.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. No, but I know, but like when you're selling the book, you get income. That's what I meant.
I suppose, but all the income is I only work with Americans, and all the income goes to my American bank account.
Ah, okay, sure. I got it.
And
Makes
so
sense.
I had to make sure that I was following the rules. So I got a Paris-based accountant who also
Mhm.
went to school in America and understands American tax law. And they have a tax treaty between the two countries,
Mhm.
so it makes it a lot better. And
Okay.
the last thing I want to do is do something that would put my visa status at risk. I mean, so
Sure. Yeah, yeah, of
when you
course.
come, you come over here, you got to keep your nose clean. Like
Yeah.
they don't play any games.
No,
See you
of
later,
course not.
Paul.
But I mean, like you don't want to anyway. I mean, like I guess
No.
I at least me, like I don't want to do like any weird things.
Well, yeah, especially because in America it's a lot freer naturally, but I don't want to knock on the door. you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah, of course,
you
of
know.
course.
So,
Of course. So, I just want to say again, just because we talked about the book now, that you can buy it on Amazon, but
yep,
also
you can buy it on
anywhere.
Amazon. If you're anti-Amazon, you can go to my website at wegotfrenched.com with an ed at the end, and there's a link there where you can buy it from the same place that the bookstores can buy it from. It's called Ingram Spark, and there's a direct link. It just takes a little bit longer because Amazon, they're Amazon, they get
Quicker.
it fast. But there's a lot of people that don't want to buy from the evil empire,
Yeah.
So I get that. Um, but yeah, it is readily available. People seem to like it, which is kind of weird when you write a book. Especially when I never fancied myself as a writer, but I got another one coming out here in another couple months.
So did you?
So
Oh, okay. Oh, that's awesome. So, so did you just started writing when you were in France?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I started that my Instagram account back in March about we
Oh,
got
that took off
Frenched.
pretty quick, huh?
Yeah, yeah, I don't know what happened. You know, I woke up one day and I'm like, holy crap! And I was telling these like, look how many people are following me.
That's
I
great.
don't know
So, what
why.
is your Instagram? It's also we got
It's
friends.
just at We Get Frenched. Yeah.
Okay.
And I just, I make reels about the things that I thought were important, about, what it meant to me, like when, how did I overcome the fear of moving, that kind of stuff. I'd rather make funny ones, but either I'm not funny or people don't like those because no one ever watches those ones.
Ah, no, they only want the real
Yeah,
ones, the deep
the
ones.
dreamy ones that everyone likes. Like I
Oh,
have one
yes.
that,
Oh,
and
yes.
it's bad because like I'll do them sometimes, and I'm making fun of myself pretty much and the dumb things I do moving over here. And sometimes the French people will write me and they're all mad. You're bashing France. And I'm like, I'm not bashing France. Watch the rest of the video. I come around and say I like it here.
Yeah.
And so there was one I was making fun of how many French holidays there were, and like a quarter of a million people watched it. And I'm like, what the hell? So,
But what would you say? Like, what's France in real versus on Instagram or on the social media?
well, I think that's what it is. Yeah, and people, I don't know. It's because you see all these people. France is this romantic country to a lot of people, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And
You have that
so,
like Paris, the city of
yeah,
love. Everything is
yeah.
lavender fields, whatever.
Yeah, but
Everybody
I'm not Emily in
wine and
Paris. I'm the redneck over in France who likes to drink wine, likes to cook, and so I'm going to tell you the truth of what happens.
yeah.
And so a lot of people that are expats will write me and they'll say, you are telling the truth. I appreciate you saying that. And then some of the French people that do watch the whole reel will write me and say, I really appreciate you saying nice things about our country because everyone bashes us all the time. I'm like, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm
Yeah.
not going to invite the federales over to look
No,
into my life.
I also like I chose to be here.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I love it here. I can't complain. I'm not going back.
Yeah. Did so and you also just said it like talking about the holidays because like holidays are coming up. So how do you celebrate the holidays abroad?
Well, I'll tell you one of the cool things is France has these Christmas markets just like Germany does,
Mhm.
and not just in Strasbourg and some of the really notable places, but even down near me in Tours and some of the other bigger cities, and those are fabulous. Especially if you like hot mulled wine, then it gets really
Yeah,
good.
of course.
I love that show. But so that's really nice, and the French really celebrate it, and it's a very family friendly country where people are still having lots of kids, and so there's a lot of celebration around Christmas. And we got invited at our first Christmas here last year with someone someone at the bank. She invited us over, and they were so welcoming for this like 5 hour Christmas Eve dinner, and
Oh, and
it was fabulous.
was it like a friend's Christmas then, or was it like
No,
with the
well, it was
family or
their family. They invited us to their family, and
yeah,
it was so
okay.
cool. And all we had to do was bring like this famous Christmas dessert. So we went to the patisserie in town and got one, and we went, and they couldn't have been any nicer. And
What
her
was the
husband was a
fav
big NBA fan,
Oh,
and so
okay.
yeah. But it
Or it's
was,
like
the girls spoke pretty good English, but no one else did. So it was kind of fun.
uh-huh. So what's the dish? What's the
It's
Christmas
this
dish
roll.
in France?
I should know it. I'm embarrassed. It's like this. It's a dessert. It looks like a big roll, and it's got like
Uh-huh.
chocolate over it, and it's got cake and cream on the inside,
Is
and
it like a Swiss roll almost?
yeah, like a giant Swiss roll.
Is it like the what's it called? I want to say like a tree log.
Something like that. Yeah, like it looks
Yeah.
like a Yule log. Somewhere, someone's listening, going, "Hey, you idiot! This is what it's
Yeah,
called."
yeah.
Like, just say it. Just say it.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
the listeners let us know because like
yeah.
we can't think of it.
Oh my
Enlighten
god,
us, please.
I'm embarrassed.
Uh, and so, but are there traditions a little bit different?
Yeah, they lots of oysters on Christmas Eve.
Hmm, okay.
It's a big meal. Um, like the butchers only, well, at least in our town, they only sell stuff that would be traditionally used for Christmas meals. Like I went
Mhm.
in there the day before. Oh, I went in the day before because I knew everything was gonna be closed Christmas Day, and I'm like, "Hey, do you got any filet de poulet?" He's like,
Okay.
"No, no."
No.
He's pointing to roast, and I'm
Wrong
like, "I
season.
need something for tomorrow."
Yeah.
But so anyway, I had to eat Christmas meal 2 days in a row.
Oh, so bad.
Yeah,
This is
but no, there's different things like that, and because we have traditions in America, but they're not as ingrained as they hear over in Europe, and it's kind of cool to watch it, and to see everyone come together, and like even not even just on holidays, like at least where I am in the rural area, the stores are closed by 12:30 on Sunday. And it's kind
Mhm.
of frowned upon if you're like, normally in America, you're going to mow your lawn on a Sunday afternoon. They're like, no, no, you should be with your family. And
Oh,
some
yeah, you
some
think that?
departments will give you a ticket.
Oh, yeah, because, like, okay, so I live in Texas, in, also the suburbs, and I guess a lot of people on my street or my neighborhood, I bet they go to church, and we don't go to church, so I always, like,
Mhm.
feel bad if we do things like that on a Sunday. I'm like, "Do they go to church? Can I, like,
Yeah.
whatever,
Hide that mimosa.
mow the lawn?"
Yeah. Like here, they're pretty relaxed about it here, but down south, they don't want to, like, you're not even supposed to mow the lawn or do anything like that in the lunch hours. It's like in
Uh,
France, everything shuts down except for restaurants from like 12 to
okay.
2. And yeah, there's like these weird things that you don't know, and you don't know until someone tells you, and then you're
Uh.
embarrassed. And
Oh, it's like,
so,
"Oh, okay, I know for next time."
yeah, I'll
Okay,
never do it
but
again.
do you have any other things that it was hard for you to adjust, or like you said now, like things you weren't aware of?
Yeah, mostly car related.
Oh, car
um,
related? Yeah, let's
yeah,
talk
well, because
about that.
in America it's like 5 miles over, and the police don't care. Here it's like 1 kilometer over, and the police can pull you over anytime they want and just check your
Mhm.
papers. So it's like the civil liberties that we get that are ingrained in us in the U.S. But as long as I'm not moving 8 balls around town. You know what I mean.
But
So as long as I just behave,
did you get pulled over?
I got pulled over a lot,
Oh,
and that's
really?
because the car I shipped over was from Florida,
Uh,
and Florida doesn't have a front license plate. And the gendarmes,
yeah,
they'd see no license plate and like,
yeah.
well, we're going to see what's going on with this guy. And so
Okay.
it was like 10, 11 times I got pulled over until I sold that
Oh,
car.
I see. Oh, and you sold it? But did you get like a why did you wanted to bring your car? What was your
Uh,
thought behind that?
it's like I'm talking to my wife. No, well, it was a nice car. And it was big, and it was paid for, and it was pretty new. And it was low mileage. And one night over a couple of beers, maybe more than a couple, me and a couple of buddies, they're like, "Hey, this your car's practically new. Why don't you bring it over there, and you won't have to worry about a car?" Because I was lamenting about, I don't know, a car to buy over there. Cars are expensive in France, so it was one of those. Here's a great idea. So I shipped it
Uh-huh.
over, and over a 2 year period, I could never get it licensed because the EU didn't like the frame of the car or the chassis, and it was like it became like a $80,000 yard ornament sitting in our
Oh.
property.
Oh,
So I
yeah,
ended
so
up
you
having to.
couldn't get could you not
No,
get
I
a
couldn't get it
license
registered.
plate? Oh,
Nope, couldn't.
oh.
So I ended up driving over to Germany and selling it to a car dealer by the base near Ramstein.
Mhm.
So where they could sell it to an American, and
Right.
they're like, "Oh, we're just gonna sell it to a diplomat." I'm like, "Here, take it, yours. Get
Yeah.
away from me." It was the
Okay.
greatest waste of money. So in
Was that
fact, I wrote about
like
that in
a
the book.
yeah, was it like a whatever, like a SUV or like a truck? Or
Yeah.
it was
Oh,
a
it was a
very
big,
obvious
huge. Yeah,
it was
it
a
was
very
like the
obvious
biggest car in
American car.
France. Yeah, and it, like it, I would we'd get into a city, and they see me sweating. It's just like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know how big this car is. This car's going to fit in any of these streets, you know.
Yes, I know, exactly.
So yeah,
Yes.
I had it one time in this town called in I think it was Châtellon sur. I don't know. It was down south of Beaune in Burgundy, and my sister was visiting, and we went, and I wanted to explore this road. I'm like, let's go see where this goes. I made like a 47-point turn trying to get out of there. She's behind me. She's like, stop, stop. And I got like 1 inch ahead, 1 inch back. And I was like, oh my God, I got to get rid of this thing.
It kind of gets the
But
because I remember like we were in France like a year and a half ago in in the Normandy. And the towns are like so old and the streets are so narrow. And we
yes,
were wondering the whole time, like, how does a car, I mean, even the modern European
yes.
cars, they're a lot wider than the streets were built for,
I don't know how they
so
do it. Like delivery
I'm
trucks.
like, yeah, even with a normal car, it's hard to get through it.
Yeah, not this big hog. Oh my God. I was so dumb. That was a dumb thing. I mentioned the next book. I wrote about this whole ordeal having this thing. It was like 38 pages.
Oh, really?
Yes.
so, so
It's like the gift that
38,
kept on giving.
38 pages of mistakes for making
Yes,
a car.
for a car.
Okay.
Yeah. So
All right.
anyone listening, don't bring your car. They have cars here.
Yes, yes. And then you also said you bought your car in Germany because it's a lot cheaper to buy used cars in Germany than in France.
It is. It is. I bought a used car, but the same car in France would have been about 40% more.
Crazy.
And yeah, but that turned into its own ordeal too. So, because well, I mean that I happened to buy it from the one dealer in Germany that didn't really play the rules that the French like. So
I see, I see.
that's
But
an
you
ongoing thing.
but like in the town you are also car dependent.
Yes, yeah,
Yes.
because I didn't. We were we weren't interested in living in the city. We did that in America. We lived in D.C. and I lived in New York. And we lived in L.A. So it really wasn't. We wanted to be a little bit further out. Now I live
Mhm.
in a town of about 800 people, but you can still walk into town. There's a bakery and what have you, and then about 4 miles down the river there is another nice sized town where there's grocery stores and lots of butchers and things to do. But you definitely need a car. I ride my bike in there in the summer, which is nice. I
Mhm.
ride along the river,
Yeah.
but
But if you want to go to like a Carrefour or supermarché, you have
I'm
to
gonna drive.
go take the car. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you also in your book there's also this chapter about the biggest mistakes or things not to do.
Car,
Is is the
car,
car meant with it? It's
car.
the car.
But learn the language. That's a big one, especially in a country like France. You should learn the language. If you're in Paris, you're fine. Everyone speaks English. Not everyone, but a lot of people speak
Yeah.
English. But if you're going to live in an area like where we are, you should learn the language a little bit better. I knew it enough, and I tried hard enough when I was talking to people that people were okay with that. No one got mad at me ever. Um, but those were the two big mistakes. And then the other thing was not selling more of our stuff. I would have preferred that we sold just everything and started all over
Oh yeah.
because it's
Okay, so
cheaper here. I
it's
mean,
cheaper. Okay, so did you ship with a shipping container or
no, we started because when we moved, it was still the remnants of COVID,
mm,
and I was hearing these. I was talking to people, and there were stories of there weren't always shipping containers available, so they might come pick up your things, and they might not get a shipping container for 5 or 6 months, and you're paying
I
rent on
see.
them storing your stuff.
Ah, oh god,
Who
that
knows
adds
in
up.
what condition? And then there's been other times when I had heard stories from other people that worked with people getting their visas, where you know essentially these containers were held hostage on for customs and all these different things, and it just seemed like a giant headache to me.
Oh, I see.
And I was like, we can get everything over there, other than clothes,
Mhm.
the American style clothes or American size clothes.
Right.
Um, but yeah, that was a big. I think I would have preferred we just didn't store anything because after a while, 6 months after you put it in storage, you don't need it anymore, right? So it's like, well, why we even pay to
Yeah, yeah,
store it?
yeah, that's right. You
So
forgot
I mean, there's
about
some
it.
pretty artwork. Yeah, when we lived in California, we knew a lot of people that were painters and talented painters, and so we have some of that. But even that, out of sight, out of mind. Once it's gone,
Yeah,
And
okay.
I
That's
wanted, like,
true.
when I left, I was so tired of being in the rat race that I wanted a different life, and everything that I had up to then, with the exception of that damn car, was
Mhm.
representative of that. And so I wanted a slower paced life, a different life where I wasn't beholden to my job and where I could try and unravel really who I am. And
Uh-huh.
it was kind of more fun for me to do that. And I had, when I would daydream about moving here, it was about quiet times, going for walks, learning things, not keeping up with the Joneses, just living my life the way I wanted to. And then I got here and I kind of reinvented what I did. I never in a million years thought I would have an Instagram page. I only
Yeah.
had Facebook so I could look at what
Oh,
old
I see.
girlfriends turned into.
Yeah.
You know, you know. So for me, it was like it's like I didn't set out for this reinvention, but it now I'm doing things that 5 years ago I'd never imagined I'd do. I mean, I write pretty much every day. It's crazy.
Oh, you write every day. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Was so like I don't want to stereotype here, but a lot of Americans, they really like their big houses, their
Mhm.
personal big yards and space. And in France or in Europe, like the houses are a lot smaller.
Very
Was
much so.
that was that like hard for you to adjust to,
No,
or
no,
was it?
we never had big houses.
Ah, okay.
We're
Mhm.
not big house people.
Mhm.
All I ever wanted was two bathrooms. That was it.
Yeah.
But even that's hard to find.
Yeah.
But no, we were never our house we lived in a town called Dana Point
Uh-huh,
near
I
the
know it.
coast, and yeah, and our house there, it was a great house, but it was only like 1,000 square feet. So we didn't. I mean, our house. I think this house we're
That's
in now
not
is the
big.
biggest one
Mhm.
we've ever lived in.
Okay. Yeah, and that is very small for American standards.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And
Yeah.
I mean, if we weren't best friends, it'd be harder. But I mean, we're so used to. We've been together 30 years, and you know, it it's pretty easy to hang out with her. I mean, we're still not married, so
Oh.
we have to behave.
Ah, yeah. Yeah. And you also said like um why people always like to talk about moving abroad and then they never do it. Um what is
It's
your
true.
theory
I
of
mean,
that?
well, a couple. I have a couple theories, and I mentioned one earlier that saying it and then actually doing it are two different things. There has to be some sort of a spark. You have to like step over the cliff at some point. You just say,
Yeah.
okay, let the chips fall where they may. I'm going to do this. But there's also the psychological aspect where I remember reading somewhere along the way that the thought of doing something can be just as psychologically rewarding as doing it. Kind of like when you're a kid and you wanted that bike for Christmas
Uh-huh.
and you finally get it. And then a couple months later, you're not even paying attention to it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot to that. And I mean, not everyone's going to do it, and anyone that does, I tip my cap. Like I always thought I would, but as it got closer and closer, I was like, I don't know if I can do that.
Uh-huh. You
But
were kind
I'm
of
glad.
getting cold feet.
Yeah, I mean, I knew I would do it if necessary, but it was so comfortable not doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
It's
see.
I have a job, I make money, I'm doing things, and I know everything here, but there was
Yeah.
always that thing in the back of my mind. I wanted to see another life, and I didn't want to, as I got older, I didn't want to get in a situation where I'm looking back and I coulda, shoulda, woulda, and then it's too
Mhm.
late.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to see things, and I'm
Yeah.
glad we do.
Yeah. On your website, you talk about your fourth quarter of life. What do you
Mhm.
always mean with the fourth quarter of your life?
Well, I'm a jock, and so I like a lot of sports, and it seems like in the fourth quarter in sports, that's where everything happens. You know what I mean? It's like so many people think. I always had this fear of one day when I retire, it's going to slow down. But I didn't have this. I had this fear where I didn't want to sit there on the couch with a remote control in my hand watching TV all the time. I wanted to do things.
Yeah.
I wanted to go out, a burning flame. And so to me, the fourth quarter is it's your chance to live your life the way you really want to do it versus the way we think society or we think our families want us to lead our lives. Now, here's your chance. I mean, hopefully, by the time you're getting to that age, your BS meter's full and you're not going to listen to anyone else tell you that you can't do it. Hopefully, you got a couple of nickels saved and you're still young enough to where you have the energy to go do it because it takes energy.
Mhm.
But I had a client that was 79 when she moved to France, and she was full of
Yeah.
piss and vinegar, but she was ready, And so for me, the fourth quarter is it's your chance to really put an exclamation point on your life. I mean, you come into the world alone, you go out alone. So what is most important to you? And when you're looking back at your life, what do you want to look back at? Do you want to look at I did something I always wanted to do, or I wish I had done something I always wanted to do?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But for you, do you think you guys gonna stay, or do you
I do.
know, like, what the future brings?
For the
Or
foreseeable future, I always thought it'd be kind of cool to live a couple years in France, live a couple years in Spain, Italy, Poland seems pretty cool. Germany,
yeah?
I love Germany, and just moving around. We're not there yet, because
Uh-huh.
this house is taking a lot of effort.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely want to see some more things.
Right.
And I love, like, even when we would go on vacation when we were younger, we would go to these cities and we wouldn't hang out where all the tourists were. We would go
Yeah.
like to some dark bar in the Bahamas dancing with all the locals. You know what I mean? That was just more
Uh-huh.
fun to us. It was
Yeah,
never,
yeah.
we did our first trip to the Louvre. I think we did it in like 45 minutes. It's like,
Right.
oh, so let's get out of here. Let's go see
So
the
did
locals.
you take the jewelry?
Yeah, right, right. it's, that's too funny. I think I just saw something here in the local news that I think they caught a person of interest,
Yeah,
but
yeah, I saw that yesterday too.
yeah.
So yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
yeah, I got some stories of that too. But yeah, I like it here. I don't anticipate leaving anytime soon, but I do want to see other things. I want to see what it's like to live other places. Um, you know, I'm not done.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got
Do
a lot of
you
energy.
still like follow the news and everything like from the US? I'm asking that because like if you spend a little bit time on whatever the expats channel on Reddit or something, a lot of people want to move because of the political climate in the US. So I wanted just to see if you like if you technically could escape from anything that is news
Uh,
related.
you can, it to me that wasn't the reason why we moved. We were going to move anyway. It didn't
Yeah.
matter to me. And
No,
and
that
as
yeah.
I tell, like, even some of my clients are like, I hate it here. They're going to round us all
Exactly.
up. And I'm like, well, administrations change. You know what I mean? If you don't like it, wait
Yeah.
4 years.
And
And
I
but
also
for
think like
me,
yeah, and I also think like when you are so into it, you will like keep following it no matter where you go.
it'll make you crazy.
Yeah, it's like I'm
That's a
not
good
there,
point
but like
because
still it's happening.
yeah, like when you move to another country, who you are goes with you.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
doesn't change, right? And so, like with the news and stuff, I try not to watch. I still watch sports, but that kind of sucks because the time difference. I can't watch it live.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I'm sorry.
But as far as I have my VPNs, so like even when I'm in the car, I'm listening to Sirius XM or Pandora in my car.
Mhm.
So I'm still listening to American music all day. I'm still watching American TV. So that does hinder my learning the French better because I'm not
I
immersed in
see.
French TV. But American TV is pretty good.
Yeah, but
But
isn't it also the French that have like a very strong like pop culture? So there is like a lot of
they
French music, a lot of French
Oh yeah,
films.
very strong. And,
Yeah.
like the Del Greys are pretty good. But I was listening to them before I even moved over here. But
Mhm.
they love America. They
Yeah.
like American music. They're into the kitschy part of America culture. Um, but back to the politics thing, I try and stay out of it.
Yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
to me, if ultimately people seem to root for teams, it's like student body president, and so all they read is what they want to read, and then just make it crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Life's too short.
Yeah, so
So,
yeah. Okay, so let me just go through my notes. No, I think I got all my questions.
cool, cool.
Thank you
Yeah,
so much for your
my
time, and
pleasure. My
yeah,
pleasure's a
that was a lot
blast.
of fun.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So
Hey,
much
when you read
interesting things.
the next book won't have the next book's just like more observational humor and the stupid things that have happened to us. Um,
Uh-huh.
it's kind of funny. At least I think it is. Maybe no
Is
one
it
else will.
Do you think it will come out soon?
Yeah, it's just time. You know what I mean? I'm the one man band. To do all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
things I do, I've learned 18 different softwares, and I learned things. Like all sorts of different programs, and so it's just a time thing. I've got most of it done. Now it's just formatting it and getting it right. Though I had a
Okay.
publisher reach out to me recently, so I'm
Oh,
debating, do I want
cool.
to go that route? And
Yeah.
he was following me on the Instagram.
Yeah,
Never.
exactly. I just want to say if you have like so many followers, then I'm sure like if you post it there a few times, like it will get some good traction.
Yeah, it's just all so weird, Victoria.
Yeah. You're like an Instagram celebrity.
Yeah, I'm an influencer.
Yeah.
No,
Influencer.
no, nothing like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, in fact, someone reached out to me recently. They want to know if I would sponsor their product. And I went, no, no interest, no interest.
Oh,
No,
really?
no
Oh,
interest. Yeah, yeah. The people that
fine.
follow me, I'd be advertising Depends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
All right. Thank you so
all right,
much. And it was really nice to meet you. Yeah, thank you. You too. You too. Bye.